Garbage Pile Kids, welcome to Smellville. I unboxed this on a video on my second channel, Channel's Random Vlogs. Now I'm reviewing it. I've read through about half of it in one day and then the rest in a second day. And it just... I was excited about this book. So excited I actually pre-ordered it. So here's what. Garbage Pile Kids is kind of a thing that's not really popular anymore. It was a parody of a thing that died out, a fad, per se, of a thing that died out. And it died out kind of along with it. And, they still make the cards, but they're just not as prevalent as they used to be. So, it's kind of just this thing that kind of just left. It's just gone. And, nobody really talks about them anymore. I love Garbage Pail Kids. There's still merchandise and things like that out there. And I thought this might be a comeback for it if these books sell well. First of all, this is going to be a whole book series. Written by R.L. Stine. You can actually go and pre-order the second book. I don't know if there was an image yet. I don't think there was. I'm gonna get these and review every single one of them. Depending on how many they are. Like if there's 20 books, maybe I won't. But one, maybe 10 of these books, I could deal with. But I read this book, and what do I think as a Garbage Pail Kids fan? Here's the author, R.L. Stine. If you don't know, he wrote the acclaimed Goosebumps series. Let's start with the art. I really like the art of this cover. You cannot get this in paperback, which is really nice. R.L. Stine does Goosebumps, and most of Goosebumps were always available in paperback. This is actual hardcover edition, though. A good hardcover. So it doesn't say who this was illustrated by, but there is actual illustrated art like this, which I think is really good. Kind of just give you some of the art in the book. It's kind of typical stuff, but I think it works for the Garbage Pail Kids. Like, look at that. I don't know. I'm conflicted about this book. Number one, I get this is a kid's book. It's not really aimed at me. But as a Garbage Pail Kids fan, I still want to read it. And the story here is not very good. So the plot of this movie, book, is that all these Garbage Pail Kids characters like Luke, Puke, Atom Bomb, Wacky Jackie, and stuff like that, those characters, they all live in a house together by themselves without parents. And it's kind of weird, right? Because where did this house come from? It's like, when you're first reading the book, you don't really know. Maybe they explained it, and I just don't remember. But they didn't. To me, I don't think they explained it. And they're just living in this house by themselves without parents. What are the Garbage Pail Kids? They don't explain it. It's a weird premise. And, Garbage Pail Kids are weird and gross. But Garbage Pail Kids are a parody. So, that's kind of the point, is that they're parodying something that's innocent and making it gross and disturbing. So, so they're living in this house by themselves, without parents. Where'd they come from? How'd they get here? Also, I just love the name, Smellville. Why would you call it Smellville? That's like a name of a town. Yes, the Garbage Pail Kids would live in, but this is the rest of the town is normal. They're the messed up part of this town. You see what I'm saying? And so it's just a weird name. And so they're living there, and then there's the family, the Perfects, and they're like, ooh, what's going on with these kids living by themselves? And what's going on there? Right? So that's the plot of the book, is that what's going on with them living on their own. And yeah, them trying to figure out a way to still live by themselves and not get separated and have to be given away to homes and stuff because they're basically orphans living by themselves. No, they should have explained. It's pretty like you could just wrote one sentence. They're in. We were in Smellville. We lived and we found this old abandoned house, and now we live there. It's an old abandoned house, and then you could say, "Hey, the Perfects moved over," and that's how they found them. Because like, there's some stupid aspects of this book too. They go to school. Okay, in what world where a kid, the way they portray them, this lifestyle they're living, of being gross and being weird and just kind of doing whatever they want, having freedoms, is like they want freedom. So that's why this is such a big issue to them. So why would these kids go to school? They're not being forced there. Kids don't like school. It's a little weird that you wrote it like that. That's an awkward idea. They're not being forced to go to school. Like, it's not like, oh man, mom and dad are making me go. No, it's just in the... And it's kind of a message that's very predictable. It's like, the be different is good, but like, these characters are legitimately disgusting. And they're not aware of society's norms and stuff like that. Like, obviously, you have to, kind of act like a normal person to a certain degree, I can't just serve you brains and go, ooh, eat that, and act like it's normal. These kids are literally causing trouble for other people, but the way they play it off is, I think Adam Baum says at the beginning of the book, we don't know any better. We don't know any better, so that gives us the right to do that. You know what I mean? Like, it's conflicted. And then the Perfects is such a really on the nose name. Like, I get it's a kid's book, but Perfects, because they're perfect. You get it? They're perfects because they're perfects. Also, what I don't like about this book is it keeps switching perspectives between the Garbage Pail Kids, and there's some times where that's really effective, where you get there's a whole part where Adam's going around the house yelling at all these kids to pay attention to him because he's got a problem going on, and there's someone knocking at the door, and you don't know who it is, and then it cuts, and then you realize who's at the door through it changing perspectives. That was a great way of doing it. Like, it adds context to the story, makes it work, but the most time it didn't do that. It was just kind of like they just switched it because they wanted to include more Garbage Pail Kids characters, and which that is a good thing you should do. This is a good thing you should do. You're taking an established brand and doing that. I think my main problem with this book is the fact that it feels like the author R.L. Stine does not understand the appeal of the Garbage Pail Kids. It seems to me he seems to think that being gross and being weird is what makes them funny. So, I'm going to serve you brains. How funny. Blah, blah, blah. That's not why people think they're funny. Like, adults laugh at these. Seriously. They're a big thing. Okay? The reason why these things are funny is because they're parroting something cute and innocent. What I would have done with this Garbage Pail Kids book is I would have taken the story, like a story like being different is good, and I would have flipped it on its head and made it like being different is not good or something like that. I would have made the story kind of messed up. And I get it's a kid's book, that's kind of weird, but that's the point. Like, it's not, the Garbage Pail Kids are not supposed to be something cute and innocent for kids. That's not the point. It's supposed to be edgy, disgusting humor that's parody of something innocent. So you take an innocent idea and story and message, and then you flip that on its head and make it gross and weird and play around with that instead of just doing the basic, obvious direction where you would take this in. I mean, so I'm gonna rate this out of 5. I want to do more book reviews. Don't know how often I will. But let's rate this out of 5. I'm gonna give it a 2 out of 5. I think they just misunderstand the point of the Garbage Pail Kids, why they work. They don't. They kind of just misunderstood the appeal, and a lot of the writing is kind of iffy. And the story premise just did not work. It was full of a lot of holes in it, and yeah. And I also want to mention there's parts where you read what's going on in the TV show they're watching, and I kind of skimmed through those pages because they were so unbelievably boring, and they were just an unnecessary interruption to the story, and they're not well woven into the story to be an interruption. So they just kind of, it's like, imagine you're watching a YouTube video and there's an ad that just interrupts halfway through, and then it cuts back and you're missing a whole sentence. That's what those felt like. It didn't really work. And they're actually really long. Like, they go on for multiple pages, not like just 1 or 2 pages. It goes on for about 5 or 6 different pages. Yeah. But let me know if you've read it. Let me know what your thoughts are. Are you excited to see more? What's your favorite Garbage Pail Kids character? I don't know. I'd have to think about it. I just love the Garbage Pail Kids altogether. So, I don't know. Let me know if you ever want me to talk about the movie. I'm debating talking about the movie.